Breaking news here. Per On3, Jeremiah McClellan could be flipping from Ohio State to Oregon. We mentioned that Ohio State just loves to stockpile these arms, and he is a top 100 player, Andrew. What would this mean for Oregon to add a guy like this?
Well, I think when I look at the recruiting class, question marks at wide receiver. We talked about Dan Lanning, what he's doing in the trenches, building that roster. Obviously, they got the quarterbacks figured out with Dylan Gabriel, Dante Moore, now Jeremiah McClellan. I think the other thing here is Ohio State. We thought Florida might have a bad Wednesday, and look at the Buckeyes right now. Edric Houston could be gone. We'll see what happens with Jeremiah Smith, but losing Jeremiah McClellan. And it's not often that Brian Hartline and the Buckeyes lose a guy like this. Receivers want to play for Ohio State. 8 active guys in the NFL. We saw one of them on Monday Night Football, Jackson Smith-Njigba with the one-handed catch. So this would be big for Oregon, and I think it kind of raises some questions about Ohio State. You know, Mark Pantoni was on my podcast. He's the GM there a while ago, just outlining how things have changed for Ohio State in this new look era of college football. They've tried to recruit more locally, regionally. Look at the recruiting class. A lot of guys from Ohio. Jeremiah McClellan, a kid from St. Louis. In theory, this is a guy that they should have had in the boat. So Ryan Day, this one stings.
An attractive offense at Oregon. Let's not overlook that. I mean, Troy Franklin and what he was able to do as a receiver in that attack, very prolific. Maybe if he stays at Ohio State, he's the second best Jeremiah coming in that class, and maybe a bit overlooked. I like what they are doing at the receiver position. Dylan Grisham is a really good player from Southern California who's got that underneath route stuff. Jeremiah McClellan could maybe be the over the top, deeper threat player. They have Roger Saliaponga, one of the best hybrid tight end, big receiver bodies that you could find in the region. So to couple them with Jeremiah McClellan, I don't know, is Dan Lanning going to start pulling out the cigar like he did last signing day?
I'm telling you. I mean, Matt Zenitz was just on telling us about the quarterback situation as far as how they've built that in the portal. So if I'm Jeremiah McClellan, I'm going, I know who my quarterbacks are going to be for the next 3-4 years, however long he plays college football. So that's an attractive offer for him. But looking at the race for the number 1 class, we talked about that Alabama might be making some moves today to push for that. This really kind of opens the door for them to at least take that number 2 spot, right? If Ohio State's losing top 100 players.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and I ran the calculations. I came in and I think I said Alabama is probably going to finish number 2. Now we'll see if they can top Georgia. Obviously Georgia involved with KJ Bolden, the 5-star. We'll see what he does here in a few hours. Alabama, it's been an impressive few days. Jay-Sean Ross, top 247 edge rusher, another Missouri kid. I feel like we keep talking about Missouri on this show. Carl Reed must be somewhere.
He's so excited.
That was a big pickup on Monday night. They're looking to flip Kevin Riley, top 247 running back from Miami. They're also in on Jaden Baugh, former Arkansas commit. I love him. He's a two-way athlete. Some schools like him at linebacker. Some schools like him at running back. I think he reminds me of Rocket Sanders, who was at Arkansas. Favor Edwin. I mean, Crimson Tide got it rolling.
Yeah, and when you think about Ohio State, specifically if they were to fall off, losing a McClellan, losing an Edric Houston, it stings. The sting factor is even more real on National Signing Day when it happens this close to the finish line and you've been working on getting a class. But I think that's a byproduct also of maybe the tide shifting a little bit in the dynamics within the Big Ten and then in the greater college football landscape. We know that Ohio State maybe doesn't play the NIL game as well as maybe some other schools. I think you have to go in there and be on the roster and kind of stamp yourself before they're able to really kind of help you with stuff like that. So maybe we're seeing effects of that right now with the Buckeyes.